Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Universal Guide for Being a Well-Balanced Solopreneur. I am here with Michelle Cooper, and we are gonna jam about money. So, for
Woo!
you who are just joining us, my name is Cindy, and I am on a mission to simplify the online business world by empowering solopreneurs to start adulting in business and actually get shit done so that you can have a bigger impact and create the freedom you so desire. I mean, that's why we're entrepreneurs in the first place, right? So,
Absolutely.
Michelle, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so grateful to have you here. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself to our peeps?
Sure. I am Michelle Cooper. I am your money rock star. Not always the rock star, but most of the time. I am an author, a speaker. I am an accountant. Most of my clients call me their spiritual accountant. I help them manage and manifest their money. And I work with conscious creative entrepreneurs who don't like numbers.
Ooh,
Mm,
I know when I started out, I did not like numbers.
right?
Not even a little bit. Yeah,
Right?
I was,
Yeah, no, they don't usually like numbers. Over time, they get to come to the appreciation of the numbers. Some of them still, not totally their jam, but they have an appreciation at least of numbers. Some of them get really excited by them and dive right in.
right, right. I wouldn't say that I'm excited about it anymore now, but I know before when I first started, when I met you, I was just winging it. And money would come into the bank account and I'd be really excited. And then when I paid bills, I'd be like, ugh. And
Right?
I just had a lot of guilt and shame around money. And I mean, I had a total breakdown around it, right? So, I think it's really important that as solopreneurs, I mean, we have a gift to share with the world, but I mean, you need to have an income coming in. You need to have that flow.
Mhm.
And so looking at your numbers is really important.
It is absolutely important. Our purpose here is to create an impact.
Hmm.
Um, Everybody creates a different impact, but it is to create an impact in our world. And we can't do that without money. Like, it's just how it is. It may not be how we want it to be, but it is how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about what your magic sauce is. I mean, you're not just an accountant.
Right.
You do more than just punch numbers.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do. And in fact, I don't do a lot of punchy numbers anymore because I've transitioned a little away from being a solopreneur. I spent quite a few years as a solopreneur doing it all,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
And and so this is where when you asked me to come on and like talk about this, I was like, I have a team now and not on my own, but I think I can show a good perspective
Hmm.
of I started with just me, my computer, and a desk.
Right.
And I did it all for clients. I did the bookkeeping, I did the accounting, I did the analysis, I did all of that. I've built up a team now of bookkeepers, but really my magic is blending what I call the prosperity pyramid, which is the physical aspect of the numbers within your business and of your money, right? So that's the dollars and cents. That's the money blueprint. It's that kind of stuff.
Right.
The non-physical, which is all here, right? It's all mindset. It's completely non-physical. It's how we think about our money. It's how we interact with our money. It's the decisions that we make about how we're going to feel about our money and our business and our numbers and our growth and all of that, right?
Right.
And then the metaphysical, which is how we co-create with the universe.
Ooh.
So when we get all those, like in a little pyramid,
Mhm.
oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good at this like screen thing ever, but I'm like, it's over here. Oh no, that's off the screen. But it's like the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
So when we have all three, we are consciously creating our business and our wealth,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
If we're missing one of those things, then it's kind of like this like lopsided little hop that we do. right?
That looks awkward.
Right? Like, like, and it's not, it can work sometimes, but that's where it's like the feast and famine kind of cycle that we can get into,
And
right?
it's harder. Way harder.
And it's hard, it feels harder too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So you said something about a money blueprint. What's that?
oh, well, I stopped using the word budget,
Ugh.
right? And now we'll call it like the B word. Um, and that's fairly recent for me. I've always felt like we need a plan, and we need something to measure, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm not like the proponent of like you can just magically, it will all work out, and like I know it will all work out, but you don't have to take inspired action, or you don't have to consciously create. I'm not of that mindset.
Right.
But recently, when I was at a conference, this guy got up and he was talking about wealth management, and not really from my perspective, more of like an investment kind of perspective, right? And he kept saying the word budget, and I was like,
Yeah.
like
Ugh.
that feels like super restrictive,
Hmm.
right? And so I was there with a couple friends, and I looked at them. I'm like, I don't like that word. And it was funny because I was just about to launch my Money Rockstars course, and one of the like free things I was doing to promote it was this kind of budgeting workshop.
Right.
So I had like this, like, oh no, like I don't like that now, and I'm promoting it. Like, oh, what am I going to do, right?
Hmm.
Um, and what I came through to understand with some meditation was that it's more, I look at it more as a blueprint, right? It is very much a plan, a blueprint for how you are going to navigate your income and expenses.
Right. So it feels more like a design for your money rather than a cage.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not restrictive, right? It's not like, oh, I can't go to Tim Hortons and have tea because I need to like allocate that $2 to somewhere else,
Right?
right?
That doesn't feel very good.
That's stupid, right? It's like if I want okay, I was just about to swear. If I want a tea, I would have a tea, right? Like that's, I want to enjoy my life. So
Yeah.
the budget thing doesn't sound like it's enjoyable, really.
Right. Absolutely.
So I changed it. I'm like, we're just not going to use that word anymore.
Nice.
Changing it. Done.
Nice. So the concept's the same. It's just the name and the energy around it is different.
Totally.
Yeah. Nice.
Totally.
Um, so can you walk me through a little bit of your process? I know you work with the mindset piece of money, and then you have a little trick that you do that's like magical. Do you want
Oh
to
my
share a
God.
little bit about that?
You're hilarious. Okay. So, you know, the, the whole mindset around money from my perspective is that it's shame that keeps us poor. It's shame that keeps us small, right? It's shame that is like this big boulder in the way of all the money flowing to you,
Mhm.
right? And it's not that the money is the point, it's that you living in your highest purpose is the point.
Right.
And when you do that and you lean into that, of course you will be taken care of. And so money exists right now in the world we live in, so you will get it. If we start trading in bananas, then you will get a whole bunch of bananas, right? Like it's just what it is, right?
Right.
So so I really feel like removing the shame is important.
Mm.
And we do that um, through uncovering generational stories that we've carried forward,
Hmm.
uncovering our own story, which may be a combination of a generational story and the your your own transactional interaction with money, right? Like you could carry a story forward generationally about money, but then also have racked up like $50,000 in credit card debt.
Right.
That combined is going to be a pretty big shame situation,
Oh yeah.
right?
Guilt like nobody's business.
Totally, right? So and then we move through forgiveness, and we start creating a relationship with our money,
Mm.
right? And that's where like people are like, what? Like, what do you, what do you, are you on crack? What do you mean? Like a relationship with my money? Money is like a dollar bill. Like, how can I have a relationship with this inanimate thing? But when we truly believe that everything is energy, there is energy within that dollar bill,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, really, by co creating with the universe and with our money and interacting with it,
Mm-hmm.
we can have gratitude, we can have appreciation, we can have self responsibility and accountability,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we can start to lean into trust,
Right.
right? And so I do this, I started doing it myself, and then I had like Joy and Megan were like, what are you doing? Oh, you need to tell other people to do that. And then
Right.
and then I introduced it to you, and you were like mind blown, like
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And then I've just seen like introducing it to clients. So it's called the money date, and it really is a date with your money. And it's a weekly interaction that you set up, you block off time,
Mm-hmm.
you create an environment that you like. So, if you don't like, if it, you don't like a spot in your house, don't sit there and do your money date,
Right.
right? Like,
It's gonna make you feel yucky.
right? Like do it in the place that you feel like, I love this place, right? And you start looking at your balances, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you start looking at the activity and then when you're doing this regularly every week, you are looking at the previous week's transactions,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where you catch money leaks,
Mm.
right? And it's so funny because I have client after client will be like, oh my God, I found this much money. I found $600. I found this, I found that. And I was like, God, I never find these things. Like, but then the beginning of this year has been really busy for me, right? So I was away for a little bit, and it's tax season and my office is busy, and I haven't been extremely regular with my money date.
Mm.
And what I have awareness of is that even when I have done it, I haven't been present necessarily.
Okay.
And so I had a situation where there was some transactions out of my account that were fraudulent,
Oh.
but because I wasn't really paying attention, they looked like it could be Apple iTunes, but it was slightly different from Apple iTunes
Mm.
on my bank statement. And it ended up being $879 over 3 months
Oh my God.
in like $2.13, $4.05, like these little transactions that you don't necessarily notice,
Right.
right? And I kind of thought all the while, I saw these, I thought, oh, it was my kids buying a song or a video or something, right?
Right.
Didn't really add up the money. And then suddenly there was Apple iTunes $14.99, which is our monthly membership. And then right underneath it was like A Star Tunes or something for like $3.40.
Oh,
And I was like, oh,
that's different.
right. And then I was like, oh, we pay for this monthly fee. Why we wouldn't have all these little bits and pieces. So that was like great awareness for me in how to deepen the money date
Mm.
about being actually present, right?
Right.
And I'm really looking at what's going on, and we write down the balances, and we write down, like as a solopreneur, you should know what your accounts receivable is, right? That is money that is owed to you from clients that haven't yet paid. If you're carrying a high accounts receivable, well, maybe there's a problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe you should think about a different way of billing, right? Get your clients on auto pay. Send out your invoice before the service starts, those kind of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as a solopreneur, you should not be carrying a high accounts receivable. That's not fair,
No.
right? And the really important thing to note is it's not your responsibility to finance somebody else's business expenses.
Oh,
And that's what you're doing.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
And again, mind blown. That happens
Right?
a lot
Because,
when I talk to you.
yeah, like that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
You're
totally.
allowing people to take their time to pay, and you are doing the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get to the point where you subcontract out some work, then now you're paying before you may get paid.
Right.
That's an even bigger problem,
Right.
right? So it depends on your volume. Your accounts receivable should never be more than, if you're a solopreneur, at the most 10% of your total sales.
Okay. That's good to know.
So good, like, rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
But really, start to think about how you're going to bill people. Don't wait to the end of a project. Don't wait to the end of the month. Um, don't trade hours for dollars,
Right.
right? Don't charge people by the hour.
Mm-mm.
When you charge people by the hour, um, because as you begin to work with them more frequently, it will take you less time to do the job. So you're actually just ripping yourself off for your growth, for your efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting paid less. So by you improving, you're getting less money.
Right? How is that fair? I
What the frick is that all about?
I actually had a situation like that about 3 months ago where I was working by the hour for a client because her project was kind of up and down. We could never do a monthly package. And what happened was she was constantly watching my time tracker
Mm,
and then asking me what certain hours were for and, well, what's this here and why are you spending so much time on this? And the energetic exchange was torture.
yeah,
So my quality of work went down because I was constantly watching the clock instead of just doing my fucking work.
yeah,
Right? So yeah, there's more
yeah.
than just that. Like it's energetic as well.
It's total energetic,
Hmm.
right? And to be honest, like, um, it doesn't matter to me how long it takes somebody to get something done. It's for me as the person paying the bill, like, to pay, say I paid you $200 a month for something.
Hmm.
I don't care if it takes you a minute. I'm paying for the result,
Yeah.
right? Like, it can take you 50 hours. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm paying for the result. Did the thing happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Pay your bill,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? But so, just, we get into this, especially new in business, we can get into this idea of hourly rates. And hourly rates are never a good thing. It's like, do you pay for your haircut by the hour? Like, no,
Right?
right? Like, you just pay like $150, you get your haircut and your roots done, and or whatever, right?
Hmm.
It's not like, oh, well, this time it took like 3 hours, so you owe me like 450, right? Like, no, that doesn't happen.
No.
But when we start working, that's how you get paid, right?
Yeah.
As a person who works at McDonald's or whatever, that's, you get paid by the hour. So
Yeah.
we get used to it, right? It becomes a mindset.
Yeah.
And we need to shift out of that,
Absolutely.
especially as a solopreneur.
Absolutely. It's about the value and the result, not, how much work you did.
Oh, it's totally about the result,
Hmm.
right? And then the other thing, like, I think for solopreneurs is like, this is funny because I had a conversation with Wendy Anderson the other day where she was like, I'm going to do my own bookkeeping. Right. And I'm like, that's great. But like, okay, so let's just think, right? You had this lady who wanted to do your bookkeeping for you. She was going to charge you $25 an hour, I think it was, right? In the States. I'm like, so how much do you charge your time out, like, roughly by the hour? And she's like, oh, about $150 an hour. I'm like, so why would you spend an hour or more working on your books, which is costing you technically $150 an hour retail,
Right.
when you could pay somebody 25?
Right. But most people don't think of it that way because they don't think that their own time is worth.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what could you be doing in that hour? You could be working with a client. You could be attracting new clients. You could be, promoting your business, doing your growth plan, getting on the phone with your CFO. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of other shit that we all have to do. You could be doing, right?
It's 100 times more valuable.
Totally,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally. So,
Absolutely. So I'm going to get into some more technical questions about money because I know money is a difficult thing for solopreneurs. We get into it because we're good at life coaching or business coaching, but maybe don't know anything about money.
totally.
So, do you think solopreneurs should keep their business and personal finances separate?
Hell yeah.
Why?
Oh my fucking God. Okay. So,
That
here's
was a
the deal. Okay. Here's the deal. Should you ever be audited,
hell.
the government will look at your bank account, right? Now, if you have an accountant and a bookkeeper and everything's reconciled with your books and your bank and all that stuff, it should be okay.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, or you're operating from a personal account that mixes your personal money with your business money, then they can say, oh, well, say you were like, oh, my brother gave me $10,000 and there's a deposit for $10,000 in the bank. They'll go, oh, that must be business income. And it will be your responsibility to prove that that wasn't. Now, you may be able to prove that that wasn't, but it's the hassle of it,
Right.
right? The other part of that is, how about having some boundaries? Right? Like, how about saying, this is my business. I take it seriously. The money goes into this account. And it doesn't have to be a business account. It could just be a separate personal account,
Right.
right? That all of the business money comes into, your expenses come out of. It's so clean and like energetically good
Mm.
that way.
Right.
Right? Even if you move every last penny at the end of the month or during the month or whatever over to your personal account, at least you have a clear record.
Right.
Right? And clarity, there's so much value in clarity.
Yes, there is.
Right? So, yeah, separate it. The other trick I tell people, is especially solopreneurs, so like people who are not incorporated per se, right? Is one credit card, get a Sharpie and write business on it or like something like that, right? So I did this with a client when we started working together where her money was all over the place, right? And it was like, okay, this one card, you want to use it because you get points, right? So you want to use it for business. So I don't want, and she had like 20 other cards. So it wasn't like, she's hard pressed to find a credit card to use, but it was like every other card is for personal. This one card is for business, right? Like, let's just define the boundaries here.
Right.
Because I think it's important to know, to like, remember, you as a solopreneur, you are your business, and that can start to overtake every aspect of your life.
Sure can.
Right?
Yeah.
So start with some boundaries. Boundaries are good. They provide structure, and structure provides freedom.
Absolutely. Speaking my language there, girl.
Right?
So that leads me to my next question. Talk to me about solopreneurs paying themselves.
Yeah.
Because many don't.
Oh my God. That makes me sad. Okay. Here's the deal again. You're in business to make money for yourself and support your family or yourself if you don't have a like extended family or whatever. But that's your whole reason, right? Is to have an income, provide you with your freedom to do what you want, live your life how you want, make an impact in the world. And so you need the money, you need to be able to pay yourself. A really simple formula is making a list of all the expenses that go into your business. So I have Zoom, I have Dropbox, I have ConvertKit, I have like my website cost. Like, what is the monthly cost of you just being in business,
Right.
right? Like, no client costs in there. Like, maybe you rent an office, so maybe there's that. But if you work from home, there's no rental amount or anything like that. There might be like internet, right? You have to have internet if you do business online. You know, you might have to have a cell phone. What is the actual cost every month for you just to be open for business?
Mm-hmm.
And then how much money do you need personally? Right? So if you look through your personal expenses and you decide, okay, so there's my mortgage, my car insurance, my this, my that, say that's $5,000, right? And say your business costs are $1,000 a month, right? So that's $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
So before you do anything, you have to earn $6,000
Just to break even.
just to break even.
Yeah.
That's nothing extra.
Yeah.
Right? So now you know your monthly sales need to be $6,000.
Right. That makes
Right?
it so easy.
Yeah. So it is the kind of it's a little bit of a slant on the profit first formula for business, but it's deciding like how much you are not the afterthought in your business.
Really?
Right? You don't just get to take what's left over.
Oh, I thought that's what it was all about, Michelle.
Right? That creates a fucked up mindset
Right?
and like I'll just take the scraps
Right?
kind of way, like the scarcity of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how you want to be. That's not consciously creating your life. That's not consciously interacting with the universe to create this amazing existence,
Right.
right? That's saying, "Oh, I'll do this thing and maybe if there's something left over, I'll take it." Right?
Ugh, that doesn't feel good.
That's not good.
Mm-mm.
So when we can, this is where we need to kind of know our numbers, right? We know what it costs to be in business. We know what it costs to live our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our like our minimum sales amount,
Right.
right? And then you can buffer from within that, right? Then you can go, well, okay, in June, I'm going to be going to LA and I need about another $3,000 for that. So you want to build that in, March or something like that. Right. So that's where you get into like consciously creating your targets
Right.
so that they actually mean something to you.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of times I say to clients, what is your target revenue this month? And they'll be like, oh, 20 grand. Okay. Well, why 20 grand? I just think that's a great number. Right. And it's like, well,
Good number.
it doesn't mean anything then.
Right.
Right. It's like, well, what's that all about? Right. Like, is there something that you're going to do with that actually means something? And that's where you get into like the mastery of your emotions and manifestation. Because if you can put in the emotions into that equation,
Mm-hmm.
then it means something.
Right.
Right? Then when you're expressing gratitude for what is coming, it actually generates a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's where all the magic starts to like hook up, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So talk to me more about that manifestation thing. You had an epiphany
Manifestation.
lately. Yes.
Well, I think if you are hanging out with me or you maybe,
Maybe.
manifestation is an important part of your life, right?
Very.
Like we create our reality
Yeah.
and you're the thinker of your thoughts. You are
Yes.
not your
There
thoughts.
it is.
Drop the mic. Do you want to share that little story?
Oh man, I can't. You need to tell it. You need to tell it.
Oh, well, I did learn that. I picked it up from Jim Fortin, actually. And he talks about that a lot, that you create your reality. And so it stuck in my head. And so as I was like chatting with friends and clients and all this stuff, that those words would come up in my head when they would be talking, right?
Mm.
So recently, Cindy and I were away together at a retreat, and whenever somebody would say something like, "Oh, I'm really scared of that," I would be like, "You're the thinker of your thoughts. You're not your thoughts." Right. And it became like I think Jackie McDonald said, "I hear you when I'm in the shower and I'm like thinking about stuff," right? Like I hear you're the thinker of your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. Because you can have thoughts of fear. That doesn't make you fear-based or afraid.
Right.
Right? You're just having that experience. You're having that thought.
Mm-hmm.
And at any time, you can decide to think differently.
Yes.
Right? So you can have thoughts of worry about money, right? And that can become your reality, and you can spiral down into crazy and depression and anxiety, fear, scarcity, lack, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can live in that, and your reality will roll out just like that,
Blech.
right? Or you can recognize that, okay, I'm having a worrisome thought about money. I have this bill I need to pay and I don't have the money in my bank. And okay, I'm having the worrisome thought. I'm going to make a new decision, going to choose again, and I'm going to decide that I am thinking about all the money coming that hasn't yet landed, right? And that when the money is there, not if, when it is there, I will pay that bill and it will be fine.
Yeah.
Right. And it will be great. And that is a different reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What happens from that kind of thought is different. Right. And I remember somebody explained it to me like a dog can bite you and you can become scared of dogs. But that was just the situation then. It doesn't mean that every dog will bite you, that it will always roll out like that.
Right.
And and we all know dogs respond to your energy, right? If you are presenting this fear energy around a dog, they probably will bite you.
Probably, yeah.
Right? And so you're going to get bit again. So it's like your thoughts are constantly creating the reality that sits in front of you.
Yeah. And when you realize that you're the thinker of your thoughts, it puts you in the driver's seat.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have a new thought.
Yeah. No,
Fuck that shit. I'm not going to think that thought anymore.
I don't like that thought. Let's pick a new one.
Right? And it's not avoidance.
No.
Right?
Choice.
And it's funny because Lewis Howes, I think it was Lewis Howes said, it's not about putting whipped cream on top of a pile of garbage. Right?
Oh, God.
Right? It's not that. It's saying, I recognize my thought. I'm not ignoring it. I'm acknowledging it, and I'm choosing to think differently.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's different. That's going like, I'm actually going to pick up the garbage and throw it away and then cover myself in whipped cream or something. Right? Like, I don't know. That was crazy. So yeah.
Nice. I like that. And we were talking before we hopped on the live stream that you had a bit of an epiphany recently about manifesting.
I did. So I think it was maybe 4 years ago or so, I started, maybe 5 years, I started reading Gabby Bernstein. Right. And so that was like my first like eye-opening, like you can manifest shit. Right. And then kind of, it's like sparks a thing, and then you connect with somebody else and it becomes a journey. And then I got into conscious manifestation, right? And like sitting down and being like, this is what I'm calling in, right? And I started working with like lunar cycles and stuff like that, of the new moon and the full moon and the intention and the release, right? And so it's been a journey, and there's been this momentum, right? And so I'm all tanned because I just got back from working at a retreat called Abundance Ignited in Mexico, which was like over the top. Like I had my own fucking butler,
Wow.
like over the top abundant, right? And I'm having a hard time adjusting to life without my butler now.
No
So
doubt.
there's just that.
Maybe
Okay.
that's your next hire.
I know, right? So on the plane, I was, like you're on the plane and it's uncomfortable and there was a guy beside me and he was like tiny. So I actually had lots of room. And then his wife had like some kind of like she did not want to travel, right? So she had like a mask on and earplugs and like a blanket, like she was just like, and pills, she was gone, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to make a lot of noise or like have lots of stuff out because she was like, traveling was not her jam. Okay.
Obviously.
Crying and like, it was just like, okay, let's like have this really calm energy. So I put on a meditation, right? And I just closed my eyes and I did some meditating for a little bit, and tried to just like exude this really calm frequency, right? And she went to sleep. So that was good.
Perfect.
And he relaxed because then she was relaxed, right? And then I did some journaling and I had some awareness of I'm really good at the momentum of manifestation and moving along the path.
Right.
I am not good at recognizing what I have manifested and acknowledging it.
Ooh.
Okay? So I started to think about about a year ago, I set an intention of having travel, fun, adventure, and being paid to speak at these things in awesome places as part of my intention, my manifestation. Right. And I had just done that.
Isn't this like the third time you've traveled this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, because I'm sitting there thinking about, oh, what do I want to manifest? And I'm in this group, right? And the group are all like getting all this clarity around what they're manifesting and they're like in their manifesting jam. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna manifest awesomeness. Like and I was like, wow, you guys are so clear and I am not. And like, I don't, this feels awful, right? But then I was like, wow, so not only did I recognize that what I had called in and set an intention for, I was actually experiencing this year, but I also had awareness of my own reality in that. And I'm really, I do gratitude every day, but in like acknowledging an intention that was set here is actually happening live in my life right now.
Right.
And I think that we can get, especially as solopreneurs, we get caught in the cycle of achievement, right? And we're so busy achieving and reaching the next goal and the next thing. And, and then I'm going to do this and I'm doing that and I'm going to build this. And we don't pause to kind of look back and say, this is what I set in place and this is what's happening right now. Even if it's not everything. Yeah. I bet it's like 50% at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it was great. I was like, this is awesome. I totally have like called this shit in. Like
so good. So good.
Yeah.
So I remember you telling me a story a while ago about you had decided to work with a coach of some kind, and the cost of it was money that you didn't have.
Yes.
Can you talk about that story a little bit?
Oh my God. Talk about doing your own work. Okay. Holy moly. So yeah, I was at an event as a participant. I didn't know why I was there. It was a really weird last minute thing that happened. I had a kind of like a friend kind of client, but more like friend, but not like good friend, like kind of casual friend. I didn't really know. Be like, hey, do you want to come to this event with me? And I got this ticket and you could have this ticket. And I was like, okay, right.
Sure.
Yeah, like, and so I had to fly there. So it wasn't like it was like I could drive to this thing. Like, so it was like I was like spending some money to go to this thing that I didn't quite know why I was there,
Right.
right? And then I heard David Bear speak. He
Mhm.
was one of the speakers. And it was like everything that I had been thinking and I had been talking about for the previous couple of years was like, bam, right in front of me, right?
Everything.
Manifested in a human being,
Right.
right? And I was like, oh. And his slant was how to bring that into business.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because just before that, I was in Las Vegas during the crazy shooting, right? And I had gone there to hang out with friends and stuff. And I had an awareness that everything that was being talked about mindset wise, I was beyond.
Mm.
And so I like turned to my friends Joy and Marlo, and I'm like, I need an up level. Like, uh, I need somebody to take me to the next level.
Yeah.
And you know, because when you're sitting at an event, you can think, oh, I like what this person's saying, I want to work with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was nobody there. Like,
Right.
it was like, yeah, I already know that. Yeah, I already know that. Like, I'm already doing that,
Yeah.
right? And so it was great awareness. And then I was presented with this person who had like just even more to offer.
Right.
So I like immediately after he spoke, I like sought him out at the event. Right? I'm like, I got to talk to that guy. Where is he? Right? Like, tracked him down. He was having lunch with his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and they have this little chihuahua. And
Oh.
I was like, can I sit at your table and talk to you for a minute? Like, I would not normally do that. Okay. Like, I'm pretty forward, but I'm not going to interfere in somebody's lunch with their wife. Right.
You really wanted to talk to this guy.
Yeah. And I was like, I feel like I have to talk to you. Right. And so he's like, okay.
I swear
So
I'm not crazy.
I know, right? Like, I'm now your new stalker. So sat down and chatted to him and told him, like, I feel like I need this up level of mindset and da 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 da, right? And he was like, okay, sure. Like, I'm not really selling anything while I'm here, but you know, you can have this package.
Yeah.
And I'm like, done. Before I could even think about how much it was going to cost, right? And I was like, I'm in. Like, just give me the piece of paper, right? And so I had to put down, I think it was $1,000 to put down. And then the rest was due. It was like about $9,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in total. And so wasn't even interested in hearing anybody else speak at that event, right? I was like, I'm going back to the hotel. I'm going to go hang out by the pool. Like, I got what I needed,
Yeah.
right? And then that night I was lying in bed, and all of a sudden I had this wave of like, oh, fuck.
What have I done?
I don't have this money. Like, I don't have 9,000 US sitting in my bank account.
Right.
What the fuck am I going to do? Right. And then I'm like, all this shame comes up. Oh my God, how could you do this? You're not consciously creating your money. Like, you're a fraud. You're out there talking about this stuff, and you're not, like, all that stuff. All that talk, right, started hitting me. And so I was like, no, you're the thinker of your thoughts. Stop, right? So I like got up, I was journaling. I got out all the fear, scarcity, lack, all that stuff, just put it on a piece of paper, and said, I'm making a new decision that this money is going to come into my life and I'm going to be grateful for it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day I was like, I'm super grateful for this money. It's going to pay for this thing, which is going to take me to a different level, and da 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 da. Right. And I'm so grateful. And I was there for 3 more days. And as I was coming home, I was at the airport, and I had a client whose wife, I didn't know, had her own business,
Mm-hmm.
and hadn't filed tax returns for like 8 years.
Ooh.
For an incorporation. And she sent me a message, and she said, you know, my husband thinks that maybe you can help me get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that maybe you could take on this project. It's pretty big. And I'm like, done. It's actually double the amount that I needed to spend.
There you go.
Right. And it came from somewhere out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now my go-to would be to sit down and think, what can I do to get this money? Mm-hmm. That would be my go-to. Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that this time because I didn't really have time to do that.
Right.
I just was like, because I was like consciously navigating the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I was like, just focus on gratitude, just be grateful, just be grateful. Right. And so I just did that.
Right.
And it came from a place that there's no way I would have known about her situation.
Wow.
So that was really powerful for me.
No kidding. No kidding.
Right. Yeah. Like it was amazing. And helped me like lean into the trust that when I'm doing the things for my highest purpose,
Mm-hmm.
I will be taken care of. So if I'm struggling with a situation, whether it's a relationship or money or something, it's just not for my highest purpose.
Yeah.
Right? It's not in alignment.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that things are easy, because it wasn't easy. Like I had to do the work as well, right? Like I had to pull together like 8 fiscal year ends, and like it was work.
Right.
Didn't just magically jump in my bank account, right? Right. But what I do recognize now is that when things consistently feel clunky or itchy, scratchy, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's not in alignment with my highest purpose. Doesn't mean it's not great for somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so fantastic.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I love all the stories that you have about money. It's so good.
Yeah. And I love sharing them.
So, just before we finish off here, I just have one more question for you before I get you to describe your door prize.
Oh.
So, I'd like for you to talk about investing in your business.
Oh, God. Personal development is your biggest investment in your business.
Yes. Amen, sister.
Amen, sister.
Preach.
Preach.
I remember you and I having a conversation back in December, and I was like, oh my God, I have to pay the government $5,000 in taxes. What the fuck am I going to do? I don't have that money. Freaking out. And you went, all you have to do, well, you can do 3 things. You can pay your taxes, you can invest in an RRSP, or you can invest in yourself. And I was like, oh, duh. That's
Right?
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's, to me, a big awareness, right? And especially for women, because they see women love playing the martyr usually, right? And going without for the benefit of somebody else, the husband, the kids, the whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But by investing in your own personal development, you will show up better in your business.
Yes.
Right. And that can be a yoga class, it can be a conference, it can be a, whatever, right? But taking that time and focusing on you and spending that money on you, the reward is like tenfold.
Oh yeah.
Right? There's a lot of systems and, tools and all that stuff that you can put into place, and they are very much needed, right? Like I can't, like, you know me, I can't do like ConvertKit. Like I need somebody to do ConvertKit,
That's
right?
I
Like,
give it for you.
yeah, like I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to pay for that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a really technical thing that happens, in the back part of my business. It's like plugging a computer in, right? Like it just happens, and, it's a piece. However, by investing in myself and my own growth, I can show up better in my business. I can show up better for my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to learn some things technically within a business, right? Maybe you need to learn how to like my bookkeepers, they have to do courses,
Right.
right? I do I'm learning, right? Um, I'm not learning accounting anymore, but I'm still learning things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, but that's a very small piece
Mm-hmm.
of the puzzle, right? And actually, if we're not investing in ourselves and our personal development, that learning component of something technical you may need to learn for your business, um, you may not feel even entitled to learn that.
Right.
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 And so when we work on ourself and our worthiness and how we show up and the things that we need to have in place to show up that way,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the ROI is tenfold.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. It allows you to up level, which makes your work better, which makes
Oh,
your work with your clients better, and you can support your clients in a much better way.
totally.
Yeah.
It's like I've sometimes clients say like, oh, I feel so grounded when I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's because I spend a lot of time grounding myself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny because I was just reading the comment from Reen. She says, I meant to listen to this while I was doing some other work, but you have entranced me, Michelle. So I'm sitting with my coffee and just listening.
I love Reen.
You
Oh
have
my
a tendency to do that to people, Michelle.
Reen and I have a sacred contract.
Of course you do. Love it. Love it. All right, so you have a door prize to give away.
I do. I can't. I know I was giving away a book,
Yes.
but I think I wanted to give away a course too.
Oh, well, let's do both then.
It's a surprise.
Yay, I love surprises.
So they can have a copy of my book, like the book bundle. So they'll get the Money Date Journal
Yeah.
and the Confessions of a Money Rockstar.
Yeah.
And I will give a free Money Rockstars course for the next launch, which happens in May.
Oh, that's perfect, actually, because the door prize is not being given away until May 11th.
Oh,
Your course launches what, May 18th?
I think so. Yeah. You know better than I do.
Perfect. Look at how we manifested that, Michelle.
Sure. That sounds like a good day. That's
Right?
like, what's that? It's like a 5 and a
It's
9.
it's, it's a 7 day, the 18th.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right, perfect. So can you describe the Money Date course or sorry, the Money Rockstar course just a little bit so that people know what they're
totally.
aiming for?
So hang on. So these are my copies, but so
Perfect.
here's the Confessions of a Money Rockstar book,
Yeah.
right? And this walks you through everything. And so this should be like this and this
Mhm.
Money Date Journal, like a bundle,
Yeah.
right? So Confessions of a Money Rockstar book has also a course called Money Rockstars.
Hmm.
And that is like I'm not in there with you live. It's
Evergreen.
videos,
Yeah.
and it walks you through some of the going a little bit deeper than the book does,
Hmm.
um, and some kind of added uh, like homework kind of assignment things
Hmm.
to do. It includes a Facebook community of Money Rockstars, so there's a lot of interaction in there,
Hmm.
um, and it includes I think there's 2 Q&A calls with me, and I'm in the group answering questions and stuff like that. It's 7 weeks,
Yeah.
and it really is 7 weeks to getting rid of that first layer of what is holding you back. And
Mm.
then from there, you can just rinse and repeat. You could do it forever, right?
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
there's always another level.
Always.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate you coming in here today and sharing your
So
wisdom with
much
everybody. I
fun.
know, right?
I want to do this all the time. I
Right?
feel like we would like to do like a TV show or something.
Hey, it's a possibility. Don't get me started. All right.
Right?
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.